This is at the farm during the solar eclipse on the 15th. Now on January the 12th we drove into Castlemaine, a small town near Harcourt. At around 7:30 I was talking about the time in Canada while living on Sprout Lake near Port Alberni. I had at that time two vehicles. One was a diesel Pontiac car which I'd stored for the winter in the driveway near the house. At about 3 in the morning an angel woke me and told me to move the vehicle. I had, as I said, two cars. The Pontiac diesel had been parked for 3 months and I thought I might have trouble starting it, but it started with first kick. I drove 50 feet or so up the driveway. Then an ash tree fell directly along where the car had been parked. The address, you can Google it, 8508 Sterling Arm Drive, Sprout Lake. The latitude is 4915,389 and the longitude is 12454.958. The point being is that the 12454 number, if you call that days and add it to my birth date, is Julian Day 244355, and this is the date that I crashed the logging truck in 1978 on February the 15th. There are 555 verses in the times in the New Testament. The word Christ is found in 522 verses. At that time I was taken up to heaven, gone up through the light, which many people speak about these days. And I was reminded who I was and then brought back to the earth. Now, as Jesus, I lived 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to the point of resurrection. And when you add 109, you get the previous number. And then Australia is 1 day ahead. Say take off 1 day, gives you 108 verses, and that's how many times the word ghost is found in the entire Bible. Jude 1:20, but ye beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost. Now, as I said, I lived on Sprout Lake near Port Alberni. From September the 1st, 1990 to my arrest on July the 8th, 1995. This is 771 days, which is 4.849 years, which is the height of the pyramid in feet with the capstone in place. My first angelic encounter as a child was on November the 16th, 1948. At that time my angel Michael told me to climb a fence and go into the house next door, and I mean I was only a child, 4.849 years old. It was there that I found a lady. She was in the bathroom. She had been electrocuted. Her son, a baby boy around 18 months or so, was asleep behind the door, which I was told to go in behind the door, step across the lady's legs, not touching her, and to tell the little boy not to touch his mother, that she was asleep. I then was told to go and tell my mother, and oddly she wouldn't listen. She never did, and had she responded, the lady would have lived. But the actual vacuum cleaner that she was electrocuted with, my father had wired it up, so it became very hush-hush. They didn't want to talk about it at all, ever. I've seen my father doing it. He connected a hot wire up to the frame, which I later confirmed with my brother. Now the lake is a ghost shape. It's like a wobbly cross, really. It's 10.4 miles long, and where the arrow is pointing there is where the house is. Now the latitude number 4915 is Marshall from 4910, and you can look up Genesis 49:10. Scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, which is Christ. The choice vine, of course, is you people who are of the end time saints that believe in me. So the point I'm making here is that every facet of my life has something to do with a connection to time, distances, dates, locations, latitudes, etc. So as the knowledge increases with the help of the internet, many of these things you can check out for yourself and see that I've been saying this for the last, well, since the internet was available to me in Canada in 1993. Now, the point I'm making here is where my two children were born in Canada. The distance between the two homes that I built where they were conceived is 444.3 kilometres. There's Vancouver Island where Port Alberni is, near Sprout Lake, and up to the right is Quesnel, top right. It's a small logging town. Well, they both are logging towns, really. So this is where the tree fell down. The house is on the lake. The tree fell where the blue line is showing, and I moved the car from the red location to the red location up the driveway. Now the tree that fell on the farm occurred shortly after we had driven out of the farmhouse to the town, and during the meal I mentioned the time in Canada, which I just mentioned to you. When we returned, the tree had fallen across the drive. Now the tree is very, very solid. There's no way this tree could break the way it did. There's no real weight on it, and the inside of the tree right through to the outside layers are very, very tough hardwood, blood red in colour. Now the eclipse that occurred on the 15th is at a latitude of 4414, and if you draw that latitude around the Earth, it is 9110 kilometres to my house in Nell Street. There's only one verse in the entire Bible with the gematria, in the New Testament that is, of 4414. What think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. Now, the point being here, that's Matthew 26:6. The point being here is that the actual crucifixion wasn't going to occur because the people were behind me. But a woman caught in adultery, which was Martha, was brought to me. We had been caught as I was espoused to Mary Magdalene, but she was unable to have a child. And it was necessary for the cross to take place on a certain date, which was the 3rd of April in the Gregorian calendar times. And we have the English gematria for the verse that I just spoke of, which is 537, which is the distance into the far wall of the King's Chamber through the antechamber, that's that little box in the centre, from the Grand Gallery, which is called the Great Step. And it means absolutely all, everyone, all things, everyone, whole. I'm talking about the earth itself, people of the earth. Now the 24 verses are the 24 elders in Revelation. Now 24 verses with the word which is groves, that has been changed, and we'll show you how it's been changed and why. But the 24 verses are the 24 elders and 24 layers of masonry, and when we overcome the 24 layers, it is the line that runs into the Queen's Chamber via the Queen's Passage.